let's talk about Real Housewives of Orange County. What were your thoughts there?
John's not beating the allegations of being a shitty partner by his attempts at like showing affection to Shannon by scratching her back like he's like checking his dog for ticks. Like just like the weirdest, like least sensual back scratch I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and this scene felt like such a setup scene. Like, I do not buy that John spent the night at Shannon's at all.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he showed up there to make it look like on camera he spent the night there. It felt so staged.
Totally.
He was way more put together than she was. So, yeah, I don't buy it.
No, neither do I. It was totally set up, just like they tried to plan to have him doing like something that reads sensual to the camera to prove that they actually are like a proper couple, and it just came off so bad, just didn't work at all.
So, what do you think is a more awkward display of affection? The Shannon and John back massage or itching, or the awkward spooning paparazzi photos from Heather and Terry?
Oh yeah, it's a tough competition. They like, I mean, Heather and Terry actually look in those photos like they're people who tolerate each other. But it is if they did like call the paparazzi to like see them at Disneyland, that is like pretty funny.
Yeah.
Also, I don't understand. There's been a number of lines as we can understand when Heather is talking about it, and she says, "Yeah, okay, where there's smoke, where there's fire, but you know what else there is? Arson." What does she mean by that? I completely don't get that.
Someone is setting her and John on fire, but who could it be?
I guess. But I thought she was replying to the "where there's smoke, there's fire" in the sense of like, it seems suspiciously like they're set up. And she's like, yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes fires are planned. Like, yeah, that's the accusation that's being made here. That it's planned.
Yeah, true.
Tamra did do a great job of just like stirring up everybody at the conversation near the end. Just like,
yes,
great masterclass of just like sowing chaos and pretending like she's not the one doing it. I just love the way she's just like is like taking Shannon's side, being Shannon's defender and her sidekick, and then being like, yeah, and like when you said that that Gina's boyfriend has a small penis, right? Just throws that in there. It's just kind of like, I don't think Gina's mad enough at Shannon. Let me throw something else on. Let me throw another log on the fire there.
A very small log.
A very small log, right? Oh my god. And Gina's attempts to defend Travis's penis. Oh my god, when she's like, "Oh, I think Travis has a lovely sized penis." That, man, if I overheard somebody I slept with saying like, "Oh, I think his penis is lovely sized," I'm running a bath and bringing a straight razor in with me. That is brutal. That is so devastating. He's not coming back from that.
Yeah, she talked about his penis the same way Jenna Lyons talked about the room she got stuck in. It's a very charming size.
Charming, yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally agree. I thought that Tamra was, like you said, putting on a master class. I said to Jess while we were watching, I'm like, anyone that is out there saying that Tamra shouldn't have been brought back is just flat out wrong. Like, she is so awesome to watch. I feel like she brings so much to the show, and without her, I feel like we would have got a very boring season.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch last season, but I keep thinking like, what were they doing without her? Like who was the engine without her? Because she's the engine of like every episode.
Last season was an all right, decent season of Orange County, but yeah, Tamra coming back just really elevates the show.
Oh yeah. That whole conversation was just an amazing display of turning everybody against each other. And making it come off like she's not the one doing fucking everything.
Yeah. I loved how the edit treated her too. Like in that early scene with Shannon and John and Tamra, we've got like Shannon saying, talking about how no one else's opinion matters, and it immediately cuts to Tamra giving a confessional where she's like, John not talking about marriage, that's a red flag. Like immediately giving her opinion.
Yeah.
It's I don't know whether it's what Tamra gives or the editors just like knowing how to work her, but it's just such a lovely symbiotic relationship to see
Yeah.
how she gets treated throughout the season.
Yeah. And you're not gonna like nail Tamara down by like breaking out proof of her being hypocritical, because she like owns up to it. Like she
Yeah.
nakedly admits that she like will adjust her behavior and whose side she's on based on the circumstances in the situation. So like you can't be like, aha, I found a contradiction in your opinions, because she like is totally open about that's how she is. Yeah.
Yeah. What other highlights did you have from this episode?
Um, Heather's getting just more and more annoying to me. I don't I don't find it cute the way that she's like prompting her interviewer into giving her opinion on vintages of Dom Perignon. Like that's just it's a very tacky way to like to try to like to try to make everybody like see you as being like wealthy and knowledgeable. Nothing wrong with being like proud of being like a wine geek. Wine geeks are a cool type of geek, and if you know a lot about wines, that's cool to flaunt that. But like, it's just like the most like basic rich person who doesn't necessarily know much about anything move to be like, one Dom Perignon vintage is better than another. Ask me about Dom Perignon, and that's what I loved actually about Tamara's Heather Duho impression when from a few episodes back, which I thought was great, because I thought like she really seized on the fact that a good impression of somebody isn't just like imitating the way they talk and act. It's about creating a character based on something that you get from the person, and like and the fact that she's got like her gold plated money gun and is like shooting money everywhere, and Heather's like, I don't shoot a money gun, that's déclassé. It's like it just like underscores like how much she nailed Heather's like basic tackiness, not in a literal sense, like of course Heather doesn't literally do that,
Yeah.
but like so much of her attitude is like effectively that kind of like tacky cheap displays of like obviously trying to flaunt wealth. So yeah, Heather Duho was just a great moment of the show for me.
Yeah, I I agree about Heather and her tackiness. I do kind of like her on screen. There's something about her, I can't really put my finger on it, but I do think that we get some interesting reactions from her. I think, you know, she's she's above replacement level housewife, I feel. I like the edit that we got of like the MIB edit. I think she's not like a villain, but she's a bit of a heel, I guess. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's not someone that you want to root for, but I think she is functionally a good housewife because she the way she gets worked up, and it adds a je ne sais quoi to
Sure, as Heather might say.
yeah. I really loved when Shannon called out her like fake tears. I thought the lunch between Heather and
Yeah.
Shannon was a really fun scene because they are both housewives that are they're kind of natural housewives. They're not strategic in any sense. They just kind of naturally bring something. With Heather, it's this tackiness, this weirdness that I described, and with Shannon, it's just being so unintentionally messy and just naturally kind of funny. And to put them in and just see that chemistry emerge, I thought was really really fun to see. I think it gets down to something that's at the root of these shows that I really like about watching these
Mm-hmm.
dynamics.
Plus, Shannon did have a really good line when she was like, "Maybe you can put this lunch in your IMDb."
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good line, well delivered.
Yeah. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that it was interesting to watch this lunch again because, when we got to see it play out on TV, there was like editor receipts about, Heather claiming that she wasn't peddling this information, and then the editors show she clearly was peddling this information. And it kind of put at the forefront just how bad Heather is at playing this strategically, and really, like, despite that, I find her to be an engaging housewife. Watching her try to work Shannon over this piece of information it was like, watching someone try to work a training dummy. Like, it's just, you're not really showing your strength by doing this in any way. And I feel like it's so much, in Shannon's mind, it's a bigger bombshell than what is going on between her and Gina. But I feel like the way that this plays between Gina and Shannon is so much more interesting and nuanced, just because of their personalities, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it definitely got worse at the end, so that's going to be fun. Would have liked to have seen more of Shannon this season, but unfortunately, God did strike her dead. So, R.I.P. Shannon. Gina had some good lines too. I do like when, like, they're walking into their fucking rustic pumpkin carving thing, and she's like, "Oh, what are those things growing? Weeds?" in reference to corn. Was that Gina who said that? I think that was Gina who said that. But she had my favorite line of the week when she's like, "Tamra has a spoon in every pocketbook that she owns."
Yeah.
was she saying she does cocaine, or was that like just total? I feel like she was trying to make a metaphor for something, and I don't know what it was. I don't know what she was.
Well, she was saying like she's got a spoon in every pocket that she owns, like for stirring the pot, I think is what she was calling.
Okay, that's pretty awkward.
Because I liked it.
Yeah, but she led into it by saying she's twisting everything. She should have led into it by saying she likes to stir the pot, which she didn't say, I don't think. She says,
right,
like,
yeah.
She keeps twisting everything people say. She's always twisting what people say. She's got a spoon in every pocket she owns. So it didn't read as like something that one phrase that follows another. I was trying to figure out what it is, and I'm like, is she accusing her of having a cocaine addiction? I don't know what she means.
Yeah, no, I thought that, like, having a spoon in every pocket, I think that is like a really good foundation for a zinger. But you're right, she did not execute it well. I hope that Tamra uses it for her tagline next season, though. I think it's got real raw potential.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. I may have a spoon in every pocket, but I don't know.
So that's a punchline. It's like something, but I got a spoon in every pocket. We'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll workshop that. I'll come up.
But
with
speaking of taglines, we get
to
power rank taglines next week, which I'm super stoked about because Real Housewives of Salt Lake City premieres.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
yes. I can't wait. That's my favorite part of the show. I'm just here to rank taglines.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you have any other highlights from this?
No, not really. They suck at carving pumpkins, but that's fine. I'm not gonna drag anybody through the mud because they suck at carving pumpkins. So that's just have to deal with it, I guess.
So I love carving pumpkins. It's one of my favorite things about Halloween. But one point of contention between my wife Jess and I is that I say you always open the pumpkin from the bottom. You cut the bottom instead of the top, and
that's what they do.
That's what they did here. That's what it said expert under her. Or they said that this was a pumpkin carving expert. And she said, cut at the bottom, not the top.
Yeah,
Jessica.
I'm with Jessica on this one, though. I've never cut out the bottom. I think that's perverse. I think it's just unnecessarily grotesque. And it's insulting to a lot of people's sensibilities, religious and philosophical. I think that you take the top off, and then you've got a little cap that you can take off, and then put the candle in, and then you put the little cap back on, and it's a fun thing to do. And
but you still have the handle when you cut the bottom. It's just you use it to pick up the
little hat you can take off.
And then you shove your hand in there to light your candle and burn your hand while you do it.
No. We practice it beforehand, of course. But then you can move the pumpkin around, and it doesn't have this gaping hole in the bottom where the candle will fall out of. It's nestled inside. It's actually inside, and it doesn't have a huge wound. It's not a wounded, dying pumpkin. It's an intact sphere still. It's got its whole head there.
It's very selfless of you to want wounds on your own hands as opposed to on the pumpkin.
It's all about what's best for the pumpkin. It's not about what's best for me. That's why you're looking at it wrong.
Okay, I guess I am corrected. And
also, if you're not roasting the seeds, what kind of an expert is that? This is wasteful.
Yeah.
What they're doing here.
Oh, didn't Shannon or someone ask if they were going to roast them for them?
Yeah, somebody did. I can't remember who. Was it Shannon? But yeah, that's why I said it. And then they're like, no. Like, come on, you got all those tasty ass seeds. I think these are fake pumpkin experts. I think they just showed up. I don't think they know what the fuck they're doing. I don't think they've ever even seen a pumpkin before.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about was Emily getting her motorcycle license, or going to a motorcycle class. I really enjoyed this scene off the top. Mostly watching the retail employees in the Harley Davidson store having to deal with the Real Housewives showing up and shooting a scene inside the Harley Davidson. It was not a setting that we usually get. And then to watch later that Tamra went with Emily to this class. We got a clip when she clearly knows how to ride a motorcycle, because we saw her ride into the beginning of this season on a motorcycle.
Yeah,
and
legendary.
Just go and stop and get praise from the instructor, oh, you're doing a great job.
Yeah. No, that was a fun scene. Also, I've made some jokes about Gina's fashion sense before on the show. I think I have. Maybe it was just in my head. But her showing up at the Harley store with her Harley varsity style jacket and tennis skirt, awesome look, great look.
Yeah,
look
totally.
At the show. Yeah.
No, I've got a list of all the shots you've taken at Gina in my hit list because I stan her. Yeah, I believe you said that you want someone to love you like Gina loves denim.
Yeah,
it's the most recent one.
Yeah,
I didn't see a denim look this episode, and I was looking.
What was she wearing at pumpkin carving, Craig?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I wasn't actually looking. Okay.
Where's the editor here to roll the tape?
Yeah,
I'm actually only 80% on that, but it's a safe bet when you're talking about Gina.
I enjoyed that we got to see someone else with a spoon. Just hear her voice. Teddy, who I feel is an underrated housewife. She was very hated by the fan base, but I love Teddy, and to see that she had a hand in stirring up drama at this pumpkin party was lovely for me. She has a podcast with Tamra, and she went on when Tamra wasn't there to shit talk a castmate that Tamra is actively shooting with. I just thought that was an excellent move.
Right. And Tamra, of course, pretends oh no, this is an unfortunate timing, when is obviously just happy to bust it out and talk about it. As if Heather is even going to listen to her podcast every week and is going to be tuned in. Instead, Tamra just shows up I have to warn you about what was just said and that I agree with and that I'm going to double down on. It's too bad this had to happen, but
I like that she waited until they sat down for lunch, and then it seemed to me that she was going to make a speech, but instead she was I just want to say something to Heather for everyone else to hear. Teddy went really hard on you about the staged paparazzi photos.
Yeah.